match. And we are in, and it seems like that we are going to be looking, of course, at the host of the room. That's going to be Mio. So, how's it looking in here? Yet again, everybody shut off. Why? Why did you actually do that when basically all of us are streamers who are spectating? So, of course, we are going to be just talking to our audiences and not really typing in the chat in here. But, of course, let's check around how the players are going to be positioning their town centers. So, southwest, that's like down and left. That's going to be town center for Ovenka. That seems like a decent spot. Decent spot. Once he gets out, gets rid of all those wood lines, he's going to be quite alright. We're getting on the gold, so that's actually not bad at all for him. Stone close by in there, stone on the left as well. But unfortunately for him, or rather unfortunately, yeah, he's going to be facing against opponents in there, so he is apparently in the flank position. And it's going to be Munoz and Nikov on his side, whereas at the back there is going to be Purple, Mio, and then there's going to be FedEx. This is actually quite a bit different than what we have seen in previous rounds being played on this map, as usually when you see the players who don't actually, or rather who are not experienced with the map all that much, who don't play it all that often, they are kind of spread out across the map. And that's what I think is exactly happening right now from CZs, because you can see Ovenka far on the left, then it's going to be Yannick somewhere at the back, then of course Error, and on the right side Skull, so they are kind of close by. But Ovenka is absolutely cut off. He's just going to be absolutely annihilated by Munoz and Unikov. And what I wanted to finish my thought a bit before is that all arcs are so close to each other that they can quite comfortably help each other. And of course, the command base is going to be offering quite a nice protection to their home team. Yep, so that's going to be a really pretty big problem, and I'm fairly afraid for Ovenka. He's going to be having absolutely a disastrous game. Yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be heavily punished. He's very far away from the closest teammate Error, and yeah, that's gonna hurt. And considering that he's the Mayan, which is easily the most important civilization on a map like this, with the archers, because it's wide open and he can raid with those plumes in there. Yeah. I'm really afraid right now for CZs that this game might be kinda shorter one. Kinda shorter one. Let's see though how CZ actually approach it. Maybe they're going to be helping each other soon enough. And it's going to be effective for them and for their game style overall. Otherwise, how the town centers were placed. Alrightish for Error. Of course, he's going to be making use of the little pond in there as well. The deer and the boar on top of that, having decent gold all around the base, with the relic on top of that. But I'm still missing a stone for him. Yeah, he doesn't have stone. That's not ideal. That's not ideal, but he's Aztec, so it's not going to be mattering all that much. At least in the early stage, he will have to find it a bit later though. He really doesn't have any stone anywhere. This is probably his closest stone between him and Ovenka, quite far away. Then a bit more to the back of the map, but he at least does have a ton of gold around himself, so that might be helping at least a bit in his cooperation with Yannick. This is really kind of weird map. Not enough stone for either Yannick and Error. You are just looking at a lot of gold all around, but not really enough stone for them. The only stone, yet again, is right now in here, next to Skull, or next to Skull is quite far away from him, but at least Skull is going to be having some stone mine in the back and timestone, so potentially he is going to be having a nicer game. And as a Chinese, he's probably going to be happy about that overall. Scouting with the sheep, of course, going to be happening from both teams. Right now, this is FedEx's sheep as we are looking at him, and he has placed his town center also quite nicely. And if he runs out of the fishes, he's going to be having the berries to be milled, some extra deer in there, and here again, gold, a lot of gold, and stone in there. And even more stone, even more gold. So pretty nice position yet again for him. He's going to be milling the second pond so that he can get as effective economy as possible. It has already happened from Nikov in here, who is one of the pocket players in there. And to be honest, with how close by all the Argentinians are, I actually don't think it's going to matter a whole lot who is going to be pocket. Because if somebody needs to be going for faster castle or whatnot, he's just going to be covered by his teammate, who is in a bit safer position as far as spawn goes. Nice food at the bottom, some extra food in there as well with the berries, and some gold. A lot of gold everywhere for the Bedouins on the Bedouins map. So yep, some villagers coming in from Nikov. next to Mio. What he's actually going to be coming for? There's going to be lumber camp for him, apparently. He's going to be helping his teammate, and he's basically already moving to the left because they know that Ovenka is close by. They've already scouted that, I'm fairly certain. Let's, for example, switch into Munoz, who should have been the one scouting it. Well, he has probably already noticed that there is something yellow in there. I think, yeah, probably already seen. Has probably already seen that something like that is in here. Wait, the villagers already coming, and that's going to be coming for the gold. Oh, this might be becoming funny. This might be becoming funny if he drops the tower. Ovenka should be dropping a tower in here pretty soon. And I'm fairly certain there's going to be counter tower from Munoz. He's already coming for the gold on the back. So he's not even going to be needing the one in the front. And how's it looking with Munoz's gold? He does have a lot of gold around, but nothing really on the back. Well, nothing in the back. It's not that close to the town center, so potentially it's going to be raidable for him. But with purple already having the villages in there yet again, with first few villages coming from Munoz, FedEx and Ovenka. Well, luckily Ovenka is at least going to be advancing quite fast, since he's going to be the one under pressure pretty much first. It's still going to be kind of funny to see how this develops. So barracks, so that he's prepared as the Mayan for the archer range once he advances for the archers. Something similar is going to be right now happening, of course, from the Aztec, but he is not going to be coming for archers, I'm thinking. But just as well could. But of course, the Mayan should be better in that regard as opposed to him. So looking at the villages, for example, in the advanced times in here. FedEx 19. Munoz 17. They're actually advancing fast, but at very low villages. Whereas the opponents, Yannick, Error, Skull, and of course Nikov are coming with slightly more. Nikov at 24. And even though he's advancing the latest, Yannick is Spanish, so he's having 21. And of course, Nikov is going to be having slightly more because he's the Chinese. The civilizations seem to be exactly the mirror. Mayan, Spanish, and Chinese, and Aztecs. Yes, it's exactly the mirror for all of them. So it's basically going to be up to and down to exactly the better execution yet again. So this is basically a very nice positioning for Yannick as far as pocket goes. Because he cannot be in a more pockety position. He's basically behind blue. Literally behind blue. So blue is going to be his shield in the early game as the Aztec, and it makes sense because Yannick as the Spanish is going to be attempting a fast castle, going for the castle and the Conquistadors for a bit of raiding in there. So archer range being built on the left, as he's already shooting at those villagers. Or is he not? No, he's shooting just at the tower, unfortunately. But he probably doesn't have enough range. Yeah, he probably doesn't. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he probably didn't have enough range just for the tower. And since one villager is going to be basically quite enough to repair it, it's going to be kind of difficult for him. He doesn't want to waste all that much time with all those villagers not really doing anything. So yep, this is a bit of a problem and something that should have happened from Ovenka, but unfortunately it was just a bit faster from Munoz. Tower already down, so that he is protecting his ever so crucial gold. Yeah, the archer is going to be paying for that probably. Just got away. He just got away for himself, and apparently there's going to be also a bit of a tower rush on the right side, where just now it has been scouted or not. No, that was actually Ferexis. It's kind of hard to see who is steel and who is green on those horses, and yeah, you can see they are basically the same almost. Especially in movement, it's getting a bit tricky. But yeah, those villages are probably going to be attempting to drop a tower about here, as another tower should be already coming for Skull, but Skull might be fighting the wrong battle in here. He's fighting against the scout, but he probably hasn't noticed that the villagers are coming close by then. Oh man, that's gonna be bad. Ah, right now he has noticed. Okay, so it's gonna be fine. He's not gonna be fast enough to get rid of this, so that's villager in there. And of course a whole lot more villagers coming in, but it's still going to be serving the purpose for FedEx, because he's forcing a lot of idle time right now from Skull. And that is what you want to achieve. Even without the tower, there are still extra villages coming in from Skull. But of course, FedEx is sending a lot more scout cavalry in there to be having a bit of a fight in there. So this is actually going to be game deciding battle right here. With finally Spearman making an appearance from Skull, which is probably going to be meaning that there's going to be an end to all of this. But the scouting cavalry is still going to be quite a nuisance, as they are kind of alive-ish. This was very nice. Quick wall at the end. Very nice protection in there. And those dudes are not going to be doing anything significant in there. On the left side, of course, all the archers from Munoz are just going all around with advances into Castle Age coming from Error and Nikov and also from Skull. So players advancing into the next ages. That's much more important, the Ovenka as well. And even though he's just now losing the villages in there, it is still going to be, hopefully for him, just a bit temporary. But I don't see him gathering any stone. Yeah, so he's probably going to be stuck with this army for a bit longer. I was maybe hoping that he could be dropping a castle on his opponent, but apparently that's not going to be the case, as he wasn't allowed to do anything all that significant. And well, of course, in the middle, Nikov just preparing for his raiding, and Mio basically the same. Just hoping that when he gets into Castle Age and drops a castle, probably right. Is he gathering something? Not sure. He's actually not gathering a stone for a castle. Interesting. As the Bayan would be really thinking that he would. But yeah, well, let's go around. As we are looking at green all around the bases. Right now going to be dropping a tower, basically trying to deny the stone and potentially even the gold, which seems to be working. But in the long run, nothing really came out of this raid all that much. Just a lot of dead scouts and town center up that is going to be protecting his interest in the gold there. Quite fine. Third town center from Skull. And of course, raiding still continuing by the scout cavalry by FedEx, trying to find something to kill right now in Yannick's base. But since Yannick is already having knights, it's going to be pretty much alright, even with Nikov coming in with the knights of his own. Yeah, some definitely we should be seeing definitely some monks coming up. That will be helping quite a lot. Otherwise, it seems like it's going to be quite difficult for Caesars to handle, as Argentinians are already quite ahead, with Nikov having so many knights in there, sending them in as the Chinese. Which is working in his favor quite alright. Right now coming for the stone, for extra town centers, and of course it seems like that Ovenka so far is at least able to survive and find his own on the left. But it's just a question of time before he gets overpowered by his opponent, because he is of course at 22 villages, whereas Munoz is at 33. In the meantime, there is just raiding all along, as Error is finally having at least a few monks trying to convert some of the knights in here, maybe even some of the scouting cavalry. But yeah, right now they are going to be on top of him, and it's going to be all up to the villagers to at least help him at least a bit. Is actually some extra knight gonna get converted or whatnot? Apparently not. Yeah, those horses. Oh yeah, one was actually stolen in the end. It was an important battle, but still, you mustn't forget that Teal is just waiting for a pretty big problem quite soon when he gets, or rather tries to get, the next gold and the next stone, because this is something that he's probably not going to be expecting all that much. Well, Green's still continuing with the houses and whatnot and scouting with those two villages, so we are just probably going to be waiting for some curious back build or whatnot. But so far it seems like the CZs are at least able to defend themselves, even though this squad of knights are definitely up for the blood, rather out for the blood. Perex Munoz advancing into Castle Ages, and well, in the base in here of Nikov himself, there is just one knight who was trying to kill something from Skull, but that's going to be about it, it seems like, and he might be paying with his life from this scouting as well, and yes, he is. So Mio going to be producing camels, apparently. Well, not really Mio, that's going to be right, of course, Nikov, because Mio is Mayan, so he cannot have camels. And goes to figure. Another archer range, crossbowman research coming up, as archers are going to be the unit of choice for Ovenka, of course. And I'm definitely curious what's gonna happen in the middle in here, because of course Green is still continuing. Even going to be gathering the shorefish in there from the will. Well, that's how gutsy he is. And cheeky at the same time, of course, as Nikov is going to be finding some extra villages to kill. That's unfortunate right now for Error, and he probably doesn't have the monks nearby, just one of them. And he is not really paying attention in there, because he's, just now he is, because he was looking right on the opponent, as he's coming already with the Mangonel, a lot of monks, and he will be attempting to push forward, ever forward, and make life difficult for FedEx, which could be working. Could be working, because this combination of army will be quite alright for them. FedEx, as the Spanish, will be looking to drop a castle somewhere about here, I'm thinking, at this stage. That's gonna be town center first, though. And, well, yeah, the monks are going to be attempting to steal what they can with the houses coming up, which is basically with the villages coming forward and switching into Error. How many resources does he have? Not much. He doesn't have really all that much. He doesn't have for a tower for anything like that. Oh yeah. What are you doing, Error? Yeah, that was a bad idea. It was an idea to stop the town center, but that wasn't great. That wasn't great to lose that mangonel for that, especially considering that it doesn't have all that many resources altogether. That was kind of tough on him, as in the meantime FedEx is getting raided. We also mustn't forget that he is also having the villages in there, and already he is dropping a sneaky siege workshop. That is going to be helping, of course, the raiding of Nikov. That is so far being denied by Yannick, but yeah, it's just a question of time before this becomes a serious problem yet again. So back builds, side builds, anything. It seems to be basically the thing for the Argentinians, and it is in every single game. In every single game, it has been a huge problem for the Czech team. In the meantime, Ovenka apparently got back on his feet and is going to be pushing forward, trying to make life harder for Muñoz, at least as much as he can. I'm not really seeing any army from Muñoz, actually. Like, literally none. Not exactly sure what's happening with that. Muñoz is at 42 villages, Ovenka 32, so he should be really having a whole lot more. Is he like slinging? Not really. Well, that's a huge sling. 61. That's probably for some advancing age, I would be thinking. But this is really getting quite dangerous for Argentinians, and that's very well played by CZs. And this is where Muñoz is. Okay, I was looking for him on the left battlefield, and this is the reason why Ovenka is having a field day against him, because he's having all the crossbowmen that he was having on the right, defending his teammate FedEx against the onslaught of all those monks and other units from Error. And of course on the right, Skull is pushing forward as well, and he's going to be annoying pretty much. Yeah, there was a bit of a battle as Nikov apparently lost a lot of units in here, but Blue as well. You can see the dead carcasses with blue cloth on them decomposing, and even the monks in here. Oh, so monks and siege, pre-siege rush, basically something that we know all that well, all too well from Age of Mythology, apparently going to be making an appearance here as well. So yeah, surprise, surprise, and yet again back build to the rescue of Argentinians. Losing 2 units, and he's actually going to be costing quite a lot of downtime in the economy. He's going to be forced to move the villages to the right, and he doesn't have any kind of defense in here. At this stage, he could be just sending the villages in there, because he doesn't know about the monasteries, but once the monks come out of the monasteries, well, tough deal. 5 villages dead, 6 villages dead right there for Skull. This is absolutely disastrous for him, and even though he is attempting to do what he can with trading at the bottom in here, with some knights trying to find something, potentially there could be something to kill if green is not going to be careful. Of course, blue is also pushing forward, doing a good job of that, actually having quite a lot of stolen knights himself. Those monks and siege are doing a great job, but they really shouldn't underestimate this back build yet again. They did underestimate it in the first game, and it backfired so badly. So badly indeed, and it's looking like that it might be becoming something similar this time around as well. Oh, he didn't finish with the back wall in there. Oh, that's actually pretty bad for him. And even though he is going to be losing a few of those knights in there, it still should be working, but few knights. He actually lost 10 of them. He lost already 3. He's winning, going to be killing the mangonel in there, potentially the monks as well. He should be killing them fast before they convert more. That's going to be one more converted, I think. Yeah, there's just a bit too many monks. He needs some mangonel in there to basically punish them, because this is very well played. This is damn well played by FedEx. A bit of a trap, basically. He's running all the knights in there just to be converted, and he's having the one ally behind in here. This is nice. Even though he's right now probably going to be losing the units in there, the tower is finally up for FedEx, and it's going to be yet another protection for the abbey in here. That's a very nice little abbey with the siege workshop on top of that. And that's yet again a huge issue for CZs right about now, with Mio joining in with the plumed archers. Oh yeah, this is going to be a big battle in here, very important one, and this is exactly what Argentinians were waiting for, to apply the pressure and alleviate the pressure on them in their home bases. As Nikov seems to be doing a good job defending against Skull, and well, that seems to be about it. But of course, Error is still pushing forward with all those monks in there, and that's an army that basically nobody from Argentinians can actually somehow approach, because he would be just absolutely stolen in like a heartbeat. All those monks would be just stealing them. But Imperial Age from Mio as the Mayan and those Puntaches, that could be a remedy for this problem. Of course, goodbye TC. So FedEx is going to be left alone, or rather left with just the army in here at the back. And they really need the archers and mangonos for this. Otherwise, it's just going to be continued conversion of a ton of knights. Seems like that the micro from FedEx is on top. Is definitely on top. But otherwise, the game is still quite close. Not really any kind of significant advantage for either team, even though it seems like that it might be yet again switching for Argentinians, because they are already going to be raiding around, trying to stop the economy of blue. That's a ton of villages. That's 14 villages idle just about now in there. And he's even more somewhere else. And these are just a bit of goats in there, or other sheep, and that's about it. Yep, apparently that's going to be a bit of raiding going on. Once those guys get somewhere safe, Ascal and Error are advancing forward, and this is right now basically a race for time. Who is going to be faster? If Error with Skull are going to be faster to basically force Argentinians into defense, or if Argentinians are going to be facing the Czech Republic A into the defense. Definitely curious what's gonna happen. But yeah, those stone miners are not really safe anymore, and those gold miners are not going to be safe for much longer either, I'm thinking. So Ferex has been dropped to 46 villages, so Ovenka is at 41, so he's not really a whole lot better off, but he is doing what he can on the left side, basically trying to stall the opponent, and with Mior right now switching into the Eagle Warriors with, of course, the conscription for faster build and all the upgrades in the Imperial Age. That's going to be very tough for him to handle, because he's having just archers, only now going to be having a few Eagle Warriors. But he is not in the Imperial Age as is Mio, so Mio is the one who will be probably dictating the game pace in this left side of the battlefield. And I'm thinking that Ovenka will pretty soon need some significant help, because even though Yannick and Error are advancing into Imperial Ages, it's still going to be quite a bit late, and Munoz is going to be continuing with Imperial Age as well. Ovenka with 40 villages, right now just 33, as he's getting absolutely hammered in his home base in there. That's going to be pretty bad for him, and I'm really not sure what the gameplay for him is going to be. Probably just stalling and hoping to survive as long as possible, and hope that his teammates are somehow going to be salvaging the game. It's going to be pretty tough. Pretty tough indeed. So right now Nikov is having a pretty good squad of knights with crossbowmen on top of that. That is going to be arriving in Yannick's base from basically the left field, like literally. And even though Yannick does have the army in there, probably going to be having cavaliers in some reasonable manner and reasonable time. He needs to worry about the attack from the right side, from the attack of the monks. And oh my, this is gonna be a difficult battle for them. As even though right now Error is literally eating into the middle of Nikov's base. Right now this is literally all or nothing for Argentinians, it seems like, and for Czech Republic A as well. Literally, who's going to be faster and better in annihilating the enemy army is going to be winning. This is a scary army of monks. A whole lot smaller number of monks in here, but they are still going to be a significant issue, and it's looking like that it's going to be up to Error winning the battle for CZs, and if he cannot, then it's going to be pretty much it, because Argentinians are all across the place, stealing army on their side, rather to their side, stopping the economy of their opponents. Cavaliers coming from Yannick, but he just cannot do anything significant against all those monks. I'm not really sure what's going to happen in here from him. Really not sure at all, especially right now with all the this is really funny. This is really funny from Nikov. He's already moving forward with villages, basically running from his base, but he's running away basically into Ovenka's territory, almost like if he didn't think that Ovenka existed at all. They just don't consider Ovenka alive, I'm thinking. They just consider him dead. And right now the GG is coming in, yeah, because CZs don't really think that they can really handle the situation in there, as even though Error is doing a pretty great job, he is going to be the last one to call the GG. He's killing everything in there. Unfortunately, unfortunately for CZs, Argentinians were just a bit faster, and they were a bit more effective in killing the bases in there. I'm just going to be curious and check everything in there. There was, of course, slaughter of, or rather through some raiding by Nikov into the economies, and the economies. Mio 104, Nikov 104 still, Munoz 102, even through the raidings in there. 58 from FedEx, but CZ 68, 83, 43, 27, so yeah, there's absolutely no chance they will be able to overcome this, even though this attack is really brutal. It's just, at this stage, it's just a nuisance, whereas this is a significant problem. And a problem that CZs unfortunately cannot handle, and that's because of those monks. And yet again, second game that they lost because of a back build that they underestimated. They're just not learning, unfortunately. You just cannot let this be. When you notice this, you need to kill it first, not advance forward. You just need to get rid of this as fast as possible, because it's dividing attention and it's getting into your back. That's just like 101 of any battle. Once your opponent is in your backlines, you are just toast. You are just slowly losing from that point forward. Yeah, well, that just happened in there. CZs were quite close, to be honest, because this push from error was very nicely executed. Very nicely executed. It was very strong. Very strong indeed. But yeah, this was also one of the reasons why, unfortunately, CZs lost. Ovenka's placement of the base. He was just basically cut off from his allies, and he was up for the taking, and he wasn't able to do anything significant to help his teammates, because he was just too far away. And the Mayan, that was exactly what they needed to get rid of the monks. The plume touches for them, or maybe just normal crossbowmen, whatever of those two. Yep, that's where the problem started for CZs, and that's where they ended. Those two spots. Okay, let's check the achievements. Where Mio is having the highest score, well, he was in the pocket without any radium whatsoever, so strongest economy for him and everything. He was even stinging a bit, but nothing major. That was probably to help with advances. Would be expecting something like that. So yep, it's a GG.